Hello everyone, today we will be going through the different parts of a desktop computer and what they are, exactly what they do, and showing at the end what a configured and built desktop computer would look like. There are many different ways to build a desktop computer. Actually going through and putting one together is not entirely feasible, but explaining all the parts and showing what they look like in the end more or less does what it shows what you need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the different parts and components that you'll need to look for when actually you're going to be building a computer. The first part we're looking at here, this is the main component of a desktop computer. This is the motherboard. The motherboard controls and all of the hardware of the machine, tells it all what to do, connects it all together, and basically runs everything on the computer. This part right here, this large fan you see, this is covering what's called the processor. The processor is the brain of the computer. That's what tells the motherboard what to do, gives all the instructions to everything on the machine. The faster the processor that you have, the more high-end processor, the faster the computer runs. It's capable of sending more instructions and handling more tasks than a slower, older processor. Also on the motherboard here, we have the memory slots, or the RAM slots. This is right here. These are two RAM sticks of memory right here. There are 4 slots on this particular motherboard. The memory allows for software to function more quickly on a machine. When a computer loads a program, it loads it into memory. The memory is instantly accessible to the machine. The more memory a computer has, the more things it can load into memory. The memory does the work before it even talks to the processor. So the fact that, in addition to a fast processor, having a lot of memory, having nowadays 2 gigs, 3 gigs, 4 gig is a gigabyte. That's 1,000 megabytes. 4 gigabytes of memory is common, extremely common, where even as 2 years ago, 4 gigabytes would have been almost unheard of in your standard desktop computer. On the rest of the motherboard, you see there are these white slots here. These are what's called PCI and this PCI Express slot. Those connect external cards to the computer. Cards such as video card or expansion cards that allow you to add more connectivity and functionality to your computer. The last part on the motherboard I'm going to show you is these slots right here. These are IDE ports on the motherboard. Those allow for connecting of hard drives, optical drives such as DVD, Blu-ray, DVD burner, CD burner. This is, we were discussing, this is the next part as we were talking about. This is what a stick of memory looks like. This is particular RAM is called DDR RAM. It's a little bit older. The hardware I'm working with here right now for demo purposes is all a little bit older, but it's essentially the same as what they use now, just an older style. The next part we discussed, for adding an expansion card to your computer, you would add a video card. The video card is required in every system. Video card is what displays your machine to a monitor. This is a particular video card is an external 256 meg ATI video card. It's also a fairly old model, but it looks essentially the same as what newer ones do. This is on the back side. This is where you connect in a monitor to the video card. There are a couple different ports. There's a DVI, a VGA port. DVI is the white one, VGA is blue. DVI stands for digital video input. It's more of a standard now for LCD monitors. The VGA is the older style connector that older LCDs and the old CRT monitors. Now it's been essentially the standard for video cards and monitor connections for years. This is what drives the video of the computer. As far as when you're storing your data and installing programs, downloading things, all of that gets stored to your computer's hard drive. This is a standard IDE hard drive. This particular one is 60 gigabytes. It's not very much nowadays. Standards with 1, 2, 3, 4 terabytes of hard drive space becoming common in desktops and workstations. This is an IDE hard drive. It plugs into the IDE slots, the ports that we saw on the motherboard just a little bit ago. Also, excuse me. There are multiple different styles of hard drives nowadays. You have IDE, you have SATA. There are other ones in the high-end workstation world called SAS, which is serial attached SCSI, and then there's called SCSI. It's just different styles of hard drives. This one is IDE. So this would be a common type of hard drive that you would have purchased to build your own desktop computer. The last component that you want to be looking at when you're going to be building your own desktop computer is the optical drive. This is a DVD reader drive. This particular model does not burn DVDs. They essentially all look the same on the inside. This is an IDE model, just like the hard drive. Plugs into the IDE port on the motherboard. This one will play DVDs, will play CDs. You get a DVD writer drive, DVD burner. You can burn DVDs, burn CDs. Blu-ray player, Blu-ray burner, same thing. All of these components will go into the case of the computer. The computer's case is here. This particular one is a Hewlett-Packard workstation. You can see here most of the components we just saw. This inside here, this is your motherboard. Right on top here, these are the processors. This is the processor fans. This particular one has 2 processors. It was a higher-end workstation at its time. On the motherboard as well, we have the memory slots. We have the video card right here. You can see the card slots down at the bottom. Over on this side here, these are your hard drives. This one has 4 hard drives in it right now for added capacity. This is the DVD drive at the top. You can see it at the front. It's right there. And they also have the floppy drive. And all of that is hooked up internally via the cables that we talked about. You have your IDE cables right here that go right to the motherboard, all down here. You can see them down at the end. In addition here, inside the case, you have the power supply. Power supply, as it would guess, powers everything in the machine. It hooks up everything that goes into the computer, your hard drive, your CD-ROM, your DVD burner, your video card, the fans, the motherboard. Everything needs to be powered. Nowadays, when you're going to be building a desktop computer, you need to make sure to look for the capabilities, the wattage of a power supply that you're buying. Newer hardware takes up a lot more power, uses a lot more power than the older machines, and when you're actually purchasing a computer, you do have to be on the lookout for what hardware you're buying to go inside with the size of the power supply, wattage-wise, that you're going to be purchasing. Now, when it comes to the cost of actually building your own desktop computer, nowadays it is more expensive to build and configure your own. The cost of components is single components has not really gone down. However, the cost of pre-configured systems from major manufacturers has gone down considerably. You can buy a complete computer package for desktop with monitor, keyboard, mouse, printer, scanner, digital camera even thrown in for $500–600, and it'll be a fantastic computer for basically anyone who wants to do it. Nowadays, if you're going to be building your own computers, it's mainly almost for hobbyists, enthusiasts, gamers who want super high-end hardware that's not available on the regular market, the regular PCs that get shipped. The building your own computer, it is something that's not for everyone. It's good to know how to do. It's good to learn how to do that in case you have a problem with your computer. You can take it apart. You can fix it. You can replace the parts. When you build your own computer, it is easier to upgrade your computer as well. Most of them are designed to be upgraded when you're building your own. When you're purchasing one off the shelf from somewhere, they're not necessarily building them with upgradability in mind. They're building them to get them out the door as cheaply as possible. So that is the components and how to put together a desktop computer. Thank you very much, and have a good day.